We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
There are several pieces of legislation that protect students and employees alike from sexual discrimination or sexual harassment. Maintaining a campus free of sex discrimination or sexual harassment, including sexual violence, is important for all SUNY Orange students and employees. Title IX of the Education Amendments prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in any educational program or activity that receives federal financial assistance. Title IX prohibits sexual harassment, including sexual violence. The Sexual Violence Against Women's Reauthorization Act, or VAWA, also prohibits sexual violence, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. This federal legislation is sometimes referred to as the Campus Sexual Violence Elimination Act, or SAVE. So what exactly is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment occurs when a person feels he or she needs to submit to sexual advances in order to avoid negative consequences regarding academics, work, or campus life. Sexual harassment can be unwelcome, repeated or severe flirting, unwanted touching, sexually suggestive messages, comments about a person's clothing or personal appearance, sexual advances or propositions, repeated requests for dates, or pressure for sexual activity. These are just a few examples. If you're experiencing other behaviors, they may still be considered sexual harassment. We encourage you to consult with the SUNY Orange Sexual Assault Response Team, which can be contacted through Campus Security or the Wellness Center. If you're the victim of sexual harassment, make sure you tell others about the harassment and ask them to help you. If you're able, avoid being alone with those who are harassing you. Make note of escalating behavior. Trust your instincts and report the behavior, especially if you think it's getting worse or your personal safety is endangered. Help is available on and off campus. To learn what resources are available and what they can offer, go to SUNY Orange's Sexual Assault Prevention and Reporting page. The Sexual Assault Prevention and Reporting page can be found at www.sunyOrange.edu/wellness/sexual_assault.html. It contains resources both on and off campus. If you are or have been harassed by a student, consider making a report to Madeline Torres Diaz, the Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Students. Sexual harassment violates the Student Code of Conduct. The Student Code of Conduct can be found on sunyOrange.edu/student-activities/publications.shtml. The handbook can be downloaded in either PDF or plain text. The Code of Conduct is found on page 46 of this document and outlines the Student Code of Conduct for SUNYOrange.edu, as well as any investigations into any breaking of the Code of Conduct, as well as punishment should it be found that a student or faculty member or staff member has broken the Code of Conduct. If you are or have been harassed by a professor, staff person, or other employee of the university, consider making a report to Wendy Holmes, the Title IX coordinator. Another example of sexual harassment is stalking. Stalking can be difficult to identify initially, annoying at first, then escalating and becoming more overt. Stalking can make victims fear for their safety. Covering a range of behaviors, the key elements of stalking are repetition and inducing fear. Some examples include repeatedly contacting someone by phone or email or other social media, even after being told to stop. Using social networking sites or other forms to harass, threaten, or release sensitive information about a person. Using technology to locate, track, and/or follow another person without their knowledge and/or consent. Following another person without that person's permission. Appearing at the workplace or residence of another person with no legitimate reason to be there. Vandalizing a person's property. Not all situations involving stalking behaviors qualify as criminal stalking. You can still get help, even if what you are experiencing is not criminal stalking. If you or someone you know has experienced stalking, trust your instincts. If you feel unsafe, call the police. Cut off all communication with the stalker. Document the stalker's behavior, including date, time, location, what the stalker was doing, and if there were any witnesses. Save all emails, texts, and other messages. Vary your routines, including changing routes to work, school, and other places you regularly go. When you are on campus, ask campus security to escort you to your car or building. Adjust the privacy settings on social networking sites or consider deleting your profiles altogether. Do not attempt to deal with the situation alone. Tell friends, neighbors, roommates, professors, coworkers, and other people you trust about the situation. Treat all threats, direct and indirect, as legitimate and inform law enforcement immediately. If in imminent danger, locate a safe place such as the police station, shelter, or other populated public area. Abusers will often isolate their victims. Share what's happening with a trusted friend or reach out to friends and family you may not have contacted in a while. It's important to have a good support system. If you have been a victim of stalking by a student, consider making a report to Madeline Torres Diaz, Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Students. If you are or have been a victim of stalking by a professor, staff person, or other employee of the college, consider making a report to Wendy Holmes, the Title IX Coordinator. Relationship violence is also sexual harassment. Relationship violence is sometimes called domestic violence, dating violence, and intimate partner violence. It is verbal, physical, or sexual abuse inflicted during a relationship in order to gain power or control. The abuse can take many forms. Emotional abuse are actions by a partner that systematically destroy a person's sense of self-esteem and self-worth. Verbal abuse is using words to injure another person. Sexual abuse is any forcible sexual activity that occurs without consent. Physical abuse, any behavior that causes or threatens bodily harm. Abuse in relationships can follow a cyclical pattern. There are many times when abusive behavior happens only once, but unfortunately this is not the case in most abusive relationships. Violent behavior typically repeats throughout the cycle. Keep in mind that not all of the victim-abuser behaviors listed in the graphic always occur. Instead of looking at these categories as stages, it can be more helpful to look at them as categories of behavior that may appear in different parts of the relationship. There are many signs that you or a friend may be in an abusive relationship. You should question a relationship with a partner who abuses alcohol or drugs, has a history of trouble with the law, blames you for how they treat you or really anything bad that happens, abuses others, puts people down or calls them names, and is always angry at someone or something, tries to isolate you and control whom you see or where you go, nags you, makes you feel guilty, pressures or forces you to be sexual when you don't want to be, cheats on you, is physically rough with you in a way that you don't like, accuses you of flirting or coming on to others, and accuses you of cheating on them, doesn't listen to you or show interest in your opinions or feelings, ignores you, gives you the silent treatment, or hangs up on you, makes vulgar comments about others in your presence or about you to others, tells you how to dress or act, threatens to kill themselves if you break up with them, or tells you they cannot live without you, experiences extreme mood swings, tells you to shut up or that you're dumb, stupid, fat, or calls you some other name, or compares you negatively to former partners. You may be in an abusive relationship if you feel afraid to break up with your partner, feel tied down or like you have to check in, are afraid to make decisions or bring up certain subjects because your partner might get mad. Tell yourself that if you just try harder and love your partner enough, that everything will be okay. Blame yourself for not being good enough. Find yourself crying a lot, being depressed or unhappy. Find yourself worrying about and obsessing about how to please your partner and keep them happy. Find physical or emotional abuse getting worse. Sexual assault is the last type of sexual harassment we'll be discussing in this training. Sexual assault is any sexual activity that occurs without the victim's consent. These behaviors include, but are not limited to, non-consensual kissing and fondling or non-consensual penetration of any sort. Other forms of sexual misconduct include any invasion of sexual privacy, either in person or through audio or video recording, knowingly transmitting a sexually transmitted infection, exposing a person's body or genitals, prostituting or soliciting another community member. These behaviors are a violation of our sexual misconduct policy in the SUNY Orange Student Code of Conduct and New York law. If you have experienced sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, or stalking, get to a safe place as soon as you can. Try to preserve all physical evidence. Contact the SUNY Orange Department of Safety and Security at one of the numbers listed below. Seek advice and support services from the SUNY Orange Sexual Assault Response Team. The team can be contacted through security or the Wellness Center. Members of the team will assist sexual assault, domestic violence, and dating violence and stalking victims, and can provide referral to county resources and support. Sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking are crimes. Victims have the right to pursue adjudication of crimes that occur on our campus through criminal courts and/or through the college's internal disciplinary process. Where there is probable cause to believe the college's regulations prohibiting sexual misconduct have been violated, the college will pursue strong disciplinary action through its own channels. This discipline includes the possibility of suspension or dismissal from the college. An individual charged with sexual misconduct will be subject to the college's disciplinary procedures whether or not under prosecution under New York State law. The college will make every effort to be responsive and sensitive to the victims of these serious crimes. SUNY Orange's Title IX coordinators are as follows. Wendy Holmes is the Title IX coordinator and monitors the oversight of all implementation of Title IX compliance at the college, including coordination of training, education, communications, and administration of complaint procedures for employees, students, and other members of the college community. Madeline Torres-Diaz is the Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Students. She coordinates all Title IX compliance for matters involving students, including training, education, communication, and administration of grievance procedure for all complaints against AUC students. Wayne Smith is the Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Athletics. His responsibilities include Title IX compliance for matters involving athletics, including training, education, communication, and administration of the grievance procedure for all complaints against AUC coaches. Whether someone was sexually assaulted after voluntarily or unknowingly drinking or doing drugs, the responsibility still lies with the perpetrator, and the assault is not the victim's fault. SUNY Orange and the police are more concerned about the assault than whether or not the victim was drinking or taking drugs. Drug-facilitated sexual assault is a term used to describe instances where drugs or alcohol are used to compromise an individual's ability to consent to sexual activity and or to minimize the individual's resistance to and memory of the sexual assault. If someone is mentally incapacitated or physically helpless due to drugs or alcohol, that person is unable to give consent to sexual activity. It is important to note that the most commonly used drug in sexual assaults on college campuses is alcohol. Other common drugs include GHB, Rohypnol, and ketamine. Over-the-counter and recreational drugs can also be used in sexual assaults. It is sometimes difficult to tell if you were drugged without specific medical testing. Some common signs that you may have been drugged without your knowledge include higher than normal intoxication for the amount of alcohol or drugs consumed, waking up with no memory of the night before, noticing signs of sexual activity with no memory of engaging in sexual activity, or remembering someone engaging sexual activity with you but feeling paralyzed, unable to react in that moment. The health and safety of every student at the State University of New York and its state-operated community colleges is of utmost importance. SUNY Orange recognizes that students who have been drinking and or using drugs, whether such use is voluntary or involuntary, at the time that violence, including but not limited to domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, or a sexual assault occurs, may be hesitant to report such incidents due to fear of potential consequences for their own conduct. SUNY Orange strongly encourages students to report incidents of domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, or sexual assault to institution officials. A bystander acting in good faith or a reporting individual acting in good faith that discloses any incident of domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, or sexual assault to SUNY Orange officials or law enforcement will not be subject to SUNY Orange's Code of Conduct action for violations of alcohol and or drug use policies occurring at or near the time of the commission of the domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, or sexual assault. Affirmative consent must be acquired before engaging in any sexual activity. So what is affirmative consent? Affirmative consent is a knowing, voluntary, and mutual decision among all participants to engage in a sexual activity. Consent can be given by words or actions as long as those words or actions create a clear permission regarding willingness to engage in the sexual activity. Silence or lack of resistance in and of itself does not demonstrate consent. The definition of consent does not vary based upon a participant's sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. Consent to any sexual act or prior consensual sexual activity between any party does not necessarily constitute consent to any other sexual act. Consent is required regardless of whether the person initiating the act is under the influence of drugs and/or alcohol. Consent may be given initially but withdrawn at any time. Consent cannot be given when a person is incapacitated, which occurs when an individual lacks the ability to knowingly choose to participate in sexual activity. Incapacitation may be caused by the lack of consciousness or being asleep, being involuntarily restrained, or if an individual otherwise cannot consent. Depending on the degree of intoxication, someone who is under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or other intoxicants may be incapacitated and therefore unable to consent. Consent cannot be given when it is a result of any coercion, intimidation, force, or threat of harm. When consent is withdrawn, it can no longer be given. Sexual activity must stop. Confused about exactly what affirmative consent means? Let's look at it from another point of view.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea, thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you could make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes, please. That's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, "Do you want tea?" because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they're safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, "But you wanted tea last week." Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, "But you wanted tea last night." But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea.
The location of harassment or violence is irrelevant. Colleges are required by law to process any complaint of student-on-student sexual harassment regardless of where the harassment took place. This includes events off school grounds and outside the school's educational programs or activities. So how do you help a friend who may have experienced assault or violence? If someone you know shows signs that they are experiencing or have been a victim of harassment, sexual assault, relationship violence, or stalking, there are ways you can help. First of all, believe them. Don't immediately question or dismiss their experience. Listen to them. Keep questions at a minimum and ask how you can help. Assure them that it is not their fault this happened. Tell them that help is available. Share the resources on the SUNY Orange Sexual Assault Prevention and Reporting page. If you believe that someone you know may be experiencing sexual violence of some kind, use your voice to let them know you care about their well-being and that you can help. Encourage this person to seek help. Getting help promptly can alleviate crisis and protect the health and well-being of your friend. Finally, let them know you support them, whatever decision they make. People who have been victims of abuse may be experiencing many feelings. They may be in shock, disbelief, numbness, or withdrawal. They may have a preoccupation with thoughts and feelings about the assault. They may have unwanted memories, flashbacks, or nightmares. They They may experience intense anger, fear, anxiety, or depression. They may also have physical symptoms like sleep disturbances, headaches, or stomach aches, and they may have an inability to concentrate and experience lower grades. They may lose focus on academics and have a loss of interest in sex, and they may have fears about safety or feelings of guilt and shame. The best way you can help yourself or a friend is by preventing sexual assault and violence to begin with, by being an active bystander. Bystander intervention involves developing the awareness, skills, and courage needed to intervene in a situation when another individual needs help. Bystander intervention allows individuals to send powerful messages about what is acceptable and expected behavior in our community. You first must notice the incident. Second, interpret whether the incident is an emergency or whether someone needs assistance. Third, assume responsibility for getting or giving help. Fourth, you must attempt to get help, whether it is to help the person leave the situation, confront the behavior, diffuse the situation, or call for support, security, or law enforcement.
A bystander is a person who is present but not involved.
I'm a bystander.
I am a bystander.
I'm a bystander. We are all bystanders.
Every day.
Whether it's your friend,
a teammate, your sister, or a complete stranger.
Step in and make a difference.
Step in and make a difference.
It means speaking up
when something is offensive.
Even when pretending I heard something else would be
so much easier.
It means addressing behaviors that encourage any kind of hate.
It means interrupting a situation that could lead to an assault.
It means I will do the right thing. I will do the right thing.
It means I won't allow sexual violence to occur in my community.
It means getting involved when others walk away.
It means that I don't wait for someone else to take action.
If I hear someone using language
I'm not comfortable with,
that I find offensive,
that degrades women,
that is homophobic, I will say something.
If I see someone trying to pressure someone else to drink,
I will speak up.
If I notice someone sharing sexually explicit pictures,
I will report it.
when someone uses the word rape inappropriately,
I will remind them how hurtful the language is to survivors and secondary survivors.
When someone says something is gay or retarded on Facebook or Twitter,
I will not ignore it. If my friend shares with me that her partner
or his partner
is physically abusive,
I will help identify resources that can help.
I will ask questions if I go to a party
and notice that there are drinks labeled
for girls or freshmen only.
If I see someone put something in someone's drink,
I will address it immediately.
If my friend discloses to me that his or her partner is always pressuring my friend to have sex,
I will make sure that my friend understands that that is not okay.
And if my friend wants help, I am here.
It's simple, really. If I see something,
I can do something.
The best way bystanders can assist in creating an empowering climate free of interpersonal violence is to diffuse the problem behaviors before they escalate. Educate yourself about interpersonal violence and share this information with friends. Confront people who make excuses for other people's abusive behavior. Speak up against racist, sexist, and homophobic jokes or remarks. In a situation potentially involving sexual assault, relationship violence, or stalking, approach everyone as a friend. Do not be antagonistic. You're trying to diffuse a situation, not increase it. Avoid using violence. Be honest and direct whenever possible. And don't be afraid to recruit help if it's necessary. Remember to keep yourself safe. If things get out of hand or become too serious, contact the police. This concludes the SUNY Orange Sexual Harassment Prevention and Reporting Training. All SUNY Orange policies prohibiting sexual harassment and sexual violence apply equally to all students regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. If you have any questions about the policies and procedures found in this training, contact one of the college's Title IX coordinators. Wendy Holmes is the Title IX coordinator and can be reached at 845-341-4662 or emailed at wendy.holmes@sunyorange.edu. Madeline Torres Diaz is the Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Students and can be reached at 845-341-4407 or emailed at madeline.torresdiaz@sunyorange.edu. Wayne Smith is a Title IX Deputy Coordinator for Athletics. He can be reached at 845-341-4261 or emailed at wayne.smith@sunyorange.edu. Please join us in helping keep our community free of sexual harassment and sexual violence here at SUNY Orange.